Welcome back to Racing Review. Great day yesterday for racing fans to see More Joyous back in the winner's stall for the 20th time, and a great spring awaits her, and delighted to say that Gai Waterhouse joins us this morning. Been a busy morning to get across Sydney town with a marathon on, but Gai runs a marathon every day. Gai, good morning to you.
Good morning. Are you all well down there?
We're okay, and I think we're safer here than with Richie on your side there, but wasn't it great to have More Joyous back yesterday, and this great promotion with the ATC and for racing fans to get involved with this popular mare?
Yes, very much so. She's an icon, isn't she? And the way she toyed with them yesterday and ran the slick sectionals, that's really exciting. I said
yesterday, Gai, that in rugby league terms, you go and watch Andrew Johns and Wally Lewis in the AFL, you see the stars. She's one of our superstars. 20 wins she's had, and she's been in the top grade from day one.
Well, you own horses, and it's hard enough to get one winner, let alone 20. It's lovely.
Let's have a look at the winner, More Joyous, and a lot to discuss. Plenty of viewers have got questions for you, Gai, which are all about your horses, which is great. So here's More Joyous. I'm not sure what questions you can ask of this. A thoroughly dominant return.
On the outside to take closer order, and then came Streamer back on the inside, followed by Gai's Choice. Emotional Circus beaten for speed, went back to second last, and Paint in the Glass last of all. It's Miss Marks in front with More Joyous striding up on the outside to almost get level. It's a leisurely pace early on. Colorado Clare third, fighting the rider a little, and then came Streamer, who's handy on the rail, followed a length and a half to Gai's Choice. Emotional Circus back on the fences second last, and last of all is Paint in the Glass. Inside the 600, Miss Marks in front with More Joyous on the outside, poised to strike, only a neck away. Colorado Clare going to the outside. Streamer's got More Joyous's back as they make the home turn, and then Gai's Choice into the straight. Miss Marks led, it's full ball. More Joyous on the outside. Nash still sits quietly. Now he shakes her up to go after Miss Marks, who's giving her a bit of cheek on the inside. It's Miss Marks in front. Now More Joyous giving a crack with a whip. She goes up, hits the lead. She's 20th win today. She's coming away. She's a class act. She beats Miss Marks. Streamer, I'd say, got third from Emotional Circus.
And I think she ran 21.52 and 10.86, absolutely on the bit there, and they bet $1.40 during the week. Thanks very much, punters. More Joyous 8 times Group 1s, and if anything, Gai, she looks to come back better than ever.
Well, she certainly looks like it, doesn't she? I don't think she's any better than she was last preparation. She probably doesn't have to be, does she? She did a pretty good job then. She loves coming Melbourne. She loves going to Caulfield. She's had 2 Group 1 wins there, and that's where she'll be heading after she runs one more time here.
Well, Gai, we saw Singo there yesterday, and he's had a lot of good horses. You've had unbelievable success with him, but it's good to see that sparkle still in both your eyes when this girl seems to walk into the yard.
Well, look, when you've got good horses in the yard, and we're lucky enough to have a lovely group of horses, you're not spoilt, but it's a very special experience, and I suppose it's like having, if you had lucky enough to have a lovely boat, or you had a lovely house. Well, the horse is the same thing. It's something special that John gets great enjoyment out of. And that Stawberry brand, gosh, he's a great breeder, isn't he? Oh.
Gai, is she a little bit easier to train now? She's got a bit older and a little bit stronger, or not?
Well, she holds a condition. She has for, I think, the last 2 years, and she's a bit territorial. I just sort of let her do her own thing, I sort of don't constrain her, and the person who looks after her daily is Dave Meyer, and the person who rides her daily is Steve O'Halloran, so I sort of let them get on and do that.
Well, you're talking about those two blokes. Haven't they been with you a hell of a long time, and loyal and good blokes?
Very much so, with mother.
With mother.
Gai, we've seen More Joyous in Melbourne at Caulfield, as you mentioned. We've also seen her at Moonee Valley in 2010 for the Cox Plate, where she was beaten. She looks to be one of the great chances for the race this spring. What's different about her 2 years later heading to the Cox Plate?
2 years older. That'll be against her, I think. You can't beat the 3-year-olds. 3-year-olds' record in the Cox Plate's outstanding. You go back to just recently when...
So you think Manhattan Rain?
Yes, I saw his tail most of the time, so that's why I never remember his name. Please, help me.
Manhattan Rain?
No, we ran second. What was the horse that won it?
So You Think?
Thank you. Too early in the morning. Anyway, So You Think. There was a Quinella. I think there's been 7 winners, all 3-year-olds. You go back to my father's horse, Red Anchor. The best horses win it, and she's the best mare in Australia. If you take out Black Caviar, there's more a sprinter mile, and this mare's more a mile of 2,000, 2,400 metre.
Well, we just saw that the market gave for the Sporting Bet Cox Plate. At the top of the page was Pierro, the 3-year-old. He's amazing, 7 out of 7, and going better than ever.
He certainly is. You know, he's a very exciting horse. You'll see him at Moonee Valley on the 29th, and he's really exciting.
Everyone, like the talk of the Golden Rose was that you missed the Golden Rose with Pierro. He was going to be a dominant odds-on favourite, but I like the quote of Greg Kolovos, the owner, who seems to be just one of the nicest blokes I've met in racing. He said, how am I going to question a Hall of Fame genius? We missed the Magic Millions. She won the Triple Crown with Pierro. I'm not going to question if she wants to miss the Golden Rose.
Well, look, you can't go to the well every time, and as tempting as the Golden Rose was, I thought I had the horse for it, which I think he'd be better suited in the Gloaming next week, and that's Cabayan. And nothing taken away from Epaulet, Peter's Quinella. It was outstanding, and two very creamy, beautiful colts.
Well, Gai, you've become a Twitter genius. I always love sitting up on Saturday night and waiting to see where you and Robbie are having dinner. We see the picture in the restaurant. Luke J. Byrne sent one through. Can More Joyous run a strong 2040 win a Cox Plate, or is Pierro her only chance?
No, they're both good chances, and they've got to get there. You know, exactly. We thought we had a great chance with Desderado last year. It didn't happen. You know, anything can happen with horses. They're a little bit unpredictable, but if they both get there, they'll both be very competitive.
One quick one about More Joyous. Who's harder to train, More Joyous or Singer?
No, Singer, much harder.
Well, I know Gai's excited about this promotion that you learned about yesterday when Richard told him about it, but where She Goes, You Go promotion, and they're the targets at this stage. The person who wins it would like Singer to throw in the arc as well on the run through there, but it's a great initiative for people to go to the races and get people back to the races and actually get to meet yourself and Singer and be close to this champion mare.
And be able to meet the jockeys and be part of the excitement on race day. I mean, we're all lucky enough that we go into the mounting enclosure and we're involved with racing. But for someone outside of racing or just goes as an occasional race goer, gosh, it'd be fun. You know, and you get the trip to Melbourne here, and they, you know, it's done so well and so excitingly, those lead-ups to the Cup. You know, it's wonderful days racing.
There you go to the internet and you go to theraces.com.au. You can download the entry form and all the terms and conditions are there, or buy a winning post and a best bets on the edition in a fortnight's time leading into the Golden Pendant, where More Joyous will be going around next, and Gai and Singo and the team will draw the winner on that day. So you've got to be there, and so wherever She Goes, You Go. So More Joyous then goes to Melbourne. You get accommodation, airlines, wonderful service, food and beverage everywhere. And the bonus is Gai's been very kind on a couple of occasions to give me a raffle or an auction prize, Bruce, for a couple of different charities, which is a day at the stables with Gai, like on the Sunday morning, which is Owners' Day, and like I've auctioned off holidays and everything, and you surprised the opportunity, which is something you just can't go and buy on the street. You can go and buy a big 7,000 foot plasma TV, but you can't buy the opportunity to come and meet Gai. And I think that's the great part of this promotion, is you get to hold hands, you get to be down the stable, and not to see the horses, but be with a legend.
Well, you try to make people, I try to bring people into racing, be it through, as we were talking about a second ago, through Twitter or your Facebook or through the emails you send or just the blog I write. And not everyone knows about how to get to the track or how to go to somebody's stable. You feel a bit intimidated walking in. Well, I want people to walk in. I want them to get a feeling of what goes on. You know, there we are in a suburban street, 10 minutes from the central business districts, 10 minutes from the airport, and a roller door, you lift it up and a whole new world opens.
And you might get an owner out of it too.
Well, you certainly can.
But Mark said earlier, and that's part of the whole promotion about horse racing, Mark said, you go to the trials now because they're down lower broadcasting. He said, Gai's owners are all there at the barrier trials. You don't see a big influx of owners at the trials, but you make it a morning out for the owners.
Well, we have the coffee and the muffins. You can't beat it.
I know. I'd sit there in jealousy looking at the muffins.
Gai, you also started Gai TV this week, a new initiative on your website, gaiwaterhouse.com. Terrific for another bit of information out there for all the punters and fans.
Well, I wanted to do reality television, and Rob and my girlfriend Leah said, no way in the world. But I think it's important. Look, we live in a day, people want to be in your house, so to speak, or in your life, don't they? We wouldn't have Twitter, we wouldn't have Facebook if they didn't want that. So I'm trying to give them that in racing. And I suppose with my acting side, you know, and all of a sudden we've got the cam on, the jockey's hat, and Neil Payne got a severe reprimand from Natasha the other day saying, got to speak properly when you go out on that track. And there they are going around about how many kilometres an hour on the horses. and that is really good. You know, it gives people a feeling of, you know, if you haven't ridden before, it's a wonderful feeling when you can feel the horse under you galloping. You know, it's really exciting.
I'd love to ride. The RSPCA brought in that rule that I'm not permitted to ride, Gai.
If I were in my stable, you'd be riding.
Here's one from Steve Ridge for you, Gai. Steve on Twitter sent through this to us. What's your favourite race on the calendar each year?
I like the Golden Slipper. It's a sexy race of Australia. It's a race that makes stallions. It's the hardest race to win. It's a pressure cooker race. The 2-year-olds can so quickly go off the boil. So I like it.
Is it about, we're talking about the Golden Slipper, then you talk about Pierro and that. Some horses' constitution, you see so many 2-year-olds go by the way. What's different to Pierro to all the other 2-year-olds that he stood right from the breeders plate all the way through?
He's tough. He's got an amazing will. Look at his ears stuck back on the back of his head. You know, he's got an amazing will to win. He's got the most fluid and wonderful action. He's got the most competitive nature, like his jockey and his trainer, and I'm sure Greg. and look, that's what makes it. You know, great horses and great sports people have got this wonderful competitive streak, and that's what he's got.
You say 2-year-olds, Gai, with the Golden Slipper, but a race like the Doncaster, you've almost made your own as well. That must hold a special place with you as well.
Does, Mark, but I think it's lost a little bit of its I think it's lost a lot of its excitement, the way they've made it like a quality handicap instead of the true handicap. You know, back when I first ran in it, my first horse to run in it was Gifted Poet, and he carried 47 kilos, and now he would be carrying 54. Just ridiculous. It's pushing the bottom weights up with the top weights so much it doesn't give the bottom weights a fair go.
Yeah, it used to be the art of trying to get in there the lightest way, but now they're all compressed. It makes it a whole different race.
Well, it makes it joyous for the more joyouses.
Yeah.
You know, the good horses come in so underweight for age. You know, they're carrying 59 kilos. In the old days, I mean, when you go back to Burnborough and the great horses we read about in history in Australia, they were carrying 70 kilos.
That's right. You think of Gunsynd and Triton, they're carrying 15 kilos over the limb and stuff like that.
And that
we're all too precious nowadays, you know. We're too scared that the horse can't carry. Of course he carries it. He carries it on the track every morning. See some of those riders that ride those horses.
Gai, you've the imported stayers are the flavour of the month in Australia at the moment. You went over to the UK last year and came back with Glencadam Gold and Julianard, and they've gone very well for you. That little bit of success, has that whet the appetite to go back to Europe and bring back some more stayers?
Absolutely. The English stayers have got a more they've got a greater anaerobic level. They've got a greater capacity for long distance work, and that's the way they're bred and they're trained. You know, if you go to Newmarket and you see what they train on there, you know, no wonder they've got such great, you know, lung capacity. You know, it's just different in Australia.
I said something on trackside yesterday, and Caroline said, "Oh, please don't mention that tomorrow morning. You'll get Gai fired up." I said about Stawberry Boy. I thought his run was nearly the run of the day yesterday. He was outstanding. I said if he was in Europe, he probably would have been qualified for our Caulfield and Melbourne Cups. He won't be able to get into any of those races at the moment.
No, he won't. He won't. It was a grand run because taking nothing away from Stout Hearted, who won brilliant form, but Kathy O'Hara's mount led, and Tommy sat just behind and then slightly in front, and he couldn't quite get Stawberry Boy to settle with the blinkers on, and the effort for him to carry on and fight out the finish. And the other horse that Kathy rode, I think, ran second last or something.
Yeah, I thought it was a run of the day, Stawberry Boy. So what do you do with him now, Gai? Is it a matter of it's going to be hard for him this year? Do we look at further down the track, or do we press on this year? And
I think you've got to get these stayers seasoned, Richard, so it's important that he pressures on, and he's a happy horse racing very well. You know, he came on a 7-day backup. I'll take the blinkers off him because I want him to be able to relax and be able to travel wherever you want to in the field. But the lovely thing is he's got a great cruising speed. You know, he really can click along. You saw the week before when he won.
We're talking about this.
A Western Symbol.